Hey, Charge Nation. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be joined with some special guests. I'm joined with some of my family members here.
Hello, I'm Anisha Alexander.
And welcome to the nation. It's your home, Jared's homes, you know.
Yeah.
We're just doing a momentum to our grandmother. I know she'd be proud of us. We all part of the same ministry. But today we're going to be talking about some awesome, interesting topics.
Yes.
Marriage. Why is money a curse word in church? And should church people
Ooh.
participate in secular events?
Ooh.
Stay tuned.
Ooh, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. This gonna be good.
Nisha,
Yes.
you
yes.
are a newlywed woman in your 20s.
Right.
We want to pick your mind a little bit. Just tell us, how did that whole process go? After the wedding was over, after y'all exchanged vows, after y'all kissed, came back after your honeymoon, what was next?
Well, after the wedding, after the loving phase, really we're still in the loving phase, but the work came after
Right.
that. It was the work, the work actually started the week of my wedding. And I went through some things, with being in the hospital and everything. So the work actually started the week of my wedding, and it's just the work, we both have different layers, and we're both are unpeeling those layers of each other. We're both are understanding. I'm not gonna say understanding our purpose.
Right.
We are husband and wife, but the grace of a wife is still falling on me. The grace of a husband is still falling on him.
Right.
And we're just learning each other. We loving on each other. Of course, the work is being put in.
Right.
Not giving up on each other. Communication is key. Us listening to each other, and we're still in the loving phase. And making it work. My husband works at a car dealership.
Right.
So he's working all the time. So he's not here with me. But just putting in the work, and what advice would I give to a woman that's looking for marriage, is to keep pushing. Don't lower your standards. Whatever standards you have for yourself, keep that. Write down what it is that you want in a husband. I wrote down what I wanted in my husband in like 2015, 16. And I went back on that list in 2021, and I looked at my list and I looked at my husband, and I'm like, Lord, you gave me exactly what I wrote down on my list. So I got exactly what I wanted, So write it down, make it plain, make the vision plain. What you want, do not settle for it. If it's something that you want, and the marriage is what you want, you stay to yourself, you clothe yourself in, and you allow the Lord to work on you, and He'll give you your husband that you desire.
Gotcha. And just to keep on giving, to help the women's, that wanting to get married.
Right.
Just tell them the reason why you got married. Because most people thinking because you're young, they thinking you just got married because you got a baby or something. But
just to add on to that, just a couple of shows ago, one of our brothers said that we in a hookup generation, right?
Okay.
So just give your perspectives on.
So before I got married, transparent parent moment. Before I got married, I was a hookup situation. Okay. No, I did not lower myself.
Right.
I understood my values, right. But we call it situationship.
Right.
We call it situationship.
Right.
So we're not in a relationship, we're not married, right. But it's just a situation going on.
Right.
But I was in those situationships, and because I was unsure of what I wanted, I mingled. I talked to different guys, just to see what it was that was out there, what I wanted, and let's just say none of those men,
right.
is something that I needed, because I got my husband.
Right.
But he was definitely not what I wanted. He was what I needed. God gave me exactly what I needed. And my vision for him and the things that I thought my husband would be like, was
right.
the complete opposite. And I fell in love with that. My husband was very persistent.
Right. So, question, and this is me asking you, because I want to know the question.
Okay.
I want to know the answer to it.
Okay.
So for my generation, you tend to see not a lot of loyalty in things.
It's not.
What advice would you give us? Do you think we should wait on a person that God sent, or do like you said, test the waters, or do some situationship? What you think we should do?
I definitely think that you should talk to different people, because how else would you know what you want? But I also would say go to the foundation. What is the foundation of a relationship? Because this generation now, they look up to social media.
Right.
They see everything on social media and they want a relationship like this. They want to go straight for the higher things,
Right.
and not want to work on what needs to be worked on in building a relationship.
Right.
Number one, loving God. Number two, loving yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of this generation don't love themselves. I think that they have low self-esteem about themselves.
Right.
So they look at social media to turn to, and they say, oh, I see this girl got a car and flowers, and think that that's what a relationship,
Right.
that's solely what a relationship is. And they're selfish.
Right.
They wanna get, but they don't want to give anything back.
Right.
So this generation now is very selfish and selfless,
Right.
because they don't care about anybody else but themselves. So you have to have that love for somebody else,
Right.
and willing to build with somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
I just love your transparency, because I know you're helping somebody right now.
Yeah.
It really is.
But one more question, because we're gonna run out of time. We will
Okay.
be back for this topic.
Okay.
So I noticed you said sometimes people have like low self-esteem, or they might be down on themselves. Sometimes as a result of that, people get into the relationship with the wrong people. Some
Right.
people may call it a toxic relationship. What advice you would give to people that find themselves in a relationship, and women especially that find themselves in relationships like that?
In a toxic relationship,
Yes.
learn from it and move from it. Heal from it. Ask God to heal your heart from it.
And don't stay in
And don't stay in something where someone doesn't love you, that someone doesn't value you, someone who has low self-esteem about themselves, because 9 times out of 10, if they're treating you that way, then they don't love themselves.
Right.
So I would most definitely tell that woman, because it can be difficult. For some women, it's very difficult to get out of a situation because they feel like that's love.
Right.
And I would tell them, don't stay in a situation where you feel like you're closed in. You're supposed to be free.
Right.
You're supposed to be able to feel somebody knows when you love them, or when I love you. When I love you, because love is not just what I say, is what I do. It's an action word.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel
So
you.
that's advice what I would give a young woman.
Right. You helping out the generation today.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking those myself. So.
Yes.
So, we talked about marriage
Right.
and perspectives on it.
Right.
So, should Christians participate in secular entertainment, or is that even possible for them not to do it?
Yes. They should. They should.
They should participate.
They should
Yes.
participate in.
I agree.
And I met my husband in those type of situations.
Right.
I met my husband in that, we were in college, so, and they had parties, they had other things going on,
Right.
So I met my situationships in those.
Right.
And not only that, biblical wise, the first miracle that, Jesus did was turning water into wine.
All right, come
You know
on,
what I'm
say that
saying?
again
And then
for
it
the
was
people
at
in the back.
then it was at a wedding.
All right.
So, at weddings, you listen to, you don't listen to holy music at weddings. You listen to music that's going to get you pumping, get you moving. You know what I'm saying? Make you feel good.
Right, and not only that, to add on to what you said, what people expect, you supposed to listen to church music while you in the bed with their partner? Like,
Yeah.
come on now, that was R&B for
Yeah.
you gotta know how to monitor it. Just don't let it
Right.
overtake you.
Overtake you. And don't let the world overtake you.
Right.
What was the
Y'all-
scripture that?
What y'all saying? I believe we could be we're in the world, but don't be of the world.
In
Or
the
something
world,
to
but
that
don't be
effect,
of the world.
But I agree with everything that y'all saying. As Christians, part of our identity is to win souls for the kingdom.
Right.
And to win souls for the kingdom, you can't win souls at a church that's already praising the Lord, that's already trying to seek His purpose.
Right.
So where would you find all those other people at? You
Right.
know, clubs, parties. Just
Parties.
because you're there doesn't mean that has you. I remember a wise man once said, "You can listen to rap music, you can listen to hip hop, but rap music or hip hop won't have me."
It won't
I
have
have
me.
hip-hop
I
and rap
have him.
music.
Yep. Correct. I agree.
Right.
So I believe
Agree.
that when it comes to should Christians participate in secular entertainment, it's all about balance.
Right.
You know?
I agree with you on that.
Because I believe that Christians can party. I believe that we can go out and have fun. It's just how the way that we go about it.
Right.
Controlling yourself, your character, still remaining in
Yeah,
that character
character.
when you're having fun.
Right.
Because you know when Jesus went out to different places, he had a mission. He had fun, but he had a mission.
Right.
Because it was somebody that he was ministering to, somebody that he was grabbing, somebody's soul that he was saving. You know, and I feel like it, like you just said, I agree. It's balance. You know, I listen to rap music. I listen to R&B. I like jazz. I like all types of different music.
That's
But
what.
yeah, so most importantly, it's just finding that balance. You know what I'm saying? Should you entertain and should you go out? Of course, because we want to have fun. We're naturally to have fun, but it's a balance. You know, it's a balance. So I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So why is money a curse word in church? Lord, this topic here, you could go so many ways about it because you know, you see on social media, you see preachers Gucci down, chains on, bust down, rolling on, and all that, and you know, the people wondering, you know, where he getting the money from and all that, and I understand that, but this I gotta turn the question on them. The people who asking where the money going is the people who not in the church.
Oh.
So
Oh.
why you wondering about where the money going if you're not in the church? Now
Right.
I can understand if you was in the church and you not seeing no progress or no progress being made. But if you in the church and you seeing progress steady being made, you shouldn't be wondering if that question shouldn't be even asked because you see where the money is being put into.
I agree with what you said, but just to veer off a little bit, you know, when I first came to, you know, the church that we at right now, I myself, I know it's human psychology, you know. You wonder, especially when you're not used to giving
Right.
money.
Right.
Right.
When
Agree.
you're challenged to give more than what you give, what
Totally
you're
agree.
used to giving, it becomes uncomfortable.
Right.
Totally
But
agree.
one thing that, you know, we're learning is that when you give your tithe, you know, have to pay for a building fund, especially for a tithe. Your 10% is something that is required by God.
Yes.
It's something that we owe Him. So that's something that should be taken out regardless. But in regards to like a building fund or something like that, if you want to save souls for the kingdom, you have to expand. So if you want to expand, you have to be cogs in the system to help turn and to help accelerate the push of the kingdom.
Right.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes people, like you said, might think that, especially of prophets, you know, all he prophesied, he prophesied, you know, just to get your money.
Man, they be tripping on that, bro.
But when you give into a prophet, I believe it says you receive a prophet's reward.
Yeah.
You receive a prophet's
So
reward.
when you give, you receive also.
Yes, sir.
You know, everybody, we shouldn't love our money more than we love God.
Right.
God requires our money for us. He requires our blood, our sweat, and our sacrifice.
And then it's kind of a crazy thing how God be working with the money, bro, because it's like he just testing you to see if you're gonna be obedient to him, and then he gonna multiply what you just gave. So it's like it's really a trick thing. You're tricking yourself out of a blessing if you want to be honest to you.
Right, that's
And
so
just
true.
to piggyback off of the things that you guys were saying, especially you, Nathaniel, from my personal experience, transparent moment, we had when we first came to Choice, Prophet asked my husband and I to sow $1,000,
Right.
and in my mind, I'm like, $1,000. What this man is paying $1,000, so $1,000, because that was the most that I ever gave,
Right.
you know. And when you know better, You do better.
Right.
And we sold the $1,000, and literally that week, my husband received a promotion. So I've seen when you sow into a prophet's life how you reap that reward. We've seen things that we thought we could not access at first, and by giving and sowing and paying those tithes, you know, we see how doors have unlocked for us, and not just for him, for me as well. Not only just for us, our family.
Right.
We have seen how doors have unlocked for our family. You know, when it was time to give for the business, for Glory Divine Home Care business, you know, and our family sold the $1,000 collectively. We've seen the clients come in. We've seen the change in us, and we've seen different things that have transpired throughout our lives that was sent to help us, you know, to groom us into who we are now, you know. So I've seen those things, and I totally agree with you on that, you know, blood, sweat, and sacrifice. Because we had to sacrifice them $1,000.
Right.
And let me tell y'all, rent was due. But we had enough for rent, and we had enough to sow that seed. So I'm thankful. Thank you, Prophet, for testing us. Thank you, Prophet. You know, and thank you, God, for making us uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? To get comfortable. So I appreciate that.
I like what both of y'all said. I like what you said about a test, and I like what you said about it being open heavens, you know. As you deliver, you know, you pass a test. God puts a test before you.
Right.
You pass a test, that results in what? Open heavens.
Right.
I mean, for me, when I first got here, I was challenged to give because, like I said, that was something I wasn't used to, and it reflected once I got that end of the year giving statement. I was shocked. At
Oh,
what it
I was shocked too. Oh, I was like, Lord, I pat my own self on the back because that was the most that we have gave. When you come in from a ministry that does not ask for seeds, you know, and does not push the fact that tithes have to be paid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, if I'm not gonna do it. Not saying that it's right.
Right.
Because it's wrong.
Because you're robbing God.
Because I'm robbing God. And at the end of the day, if I'm sowing seeds and I give it tithes, I'm just holding the bag and all my money just flying away.
Right.
You know, so I think the biggest thing was, you know, the understanding part.
Right.
Understanding the mean to give, understanding
Right.
the mean to sow.
Right.
Because I'm telling y'all, when he came up to us and he didn't budge.
Right.
When he
I
came up
know.
to us and said, y'all sold at $1,000, you know, I was looking at Marcus like, what we gonna do?
And I know you're not lying, bro. And I know you're not lying because, you know, I was talking to Prophet one day, and he asked me for my tithe. I said, "Boy, mama tithe for me." What you mean? I'm a tithe. But you know, and then I realized, you know, it wasn't a blessing for me. That was her receiving her blessing until I actually touched the waters and started sowing. And it's so crazy. I remember this. I sowed the seed. I sowed the seed in the ministry, and the next day I just went to go wash the car. I found $20 right on the ground right when I stepped out. So I was like, "All right, God," I said, "I know what to do now." So I got on. You know, I got the memo about tithe and offering because you can't just tithe without doing offering, and you can't do offering without including the tithe. See, they both work together because if you do one without the other, it's just still having holes in your bag.
Right, and then also to add on to that, I wouldn't want to serve anybody who just look any type of way, who doesn't take care of, you know, themselves, B, you know, really God's house first, and then themselves, because at the end of the day, you know, we've seen our pastor, you know, pour in and do different things with his own money. Because he always said, if you trust in people to give you something, you'll never have it. You know what I'm saying? Or if you trust people, they'll rob God. So what makes you think they won't rob you?
Right.
So we've seen him personally give money and do for, you know, different kingdom funds. And, you know, people ask about kingdom buildings and, you know, different things that we haven't seen yet.
Right.
You know, I trust him to do the right thing because at the end of the day, he's gonna get in trouble with God.
Right, and not only that, to pick it up, I know our prophet just real as it could be because I didn't watch this man with my own eyes sow tens of thousands into ministry, small ministries.
Right.
And not only that, when I was in Florida, when I didn't have enough money to pay for the rest of my shoes, he helped me out. He picked up all my slack.
Yeah.
And with no questions
That's
about it, and he didn't ask me to give it back to him.
Right.
he's a giver.
He's a giver.
And I see that
Genuine
with my own eyes.
person. Genuine person. Very important.
So, what y'all were talking earlier, you know, going back to the open heavens, you said when y'all first came, Giving opened up a door for your husband for a job.
It did.
Giving opened up a door for our family and our business. And Giving, it opened up for me a job in my career. So, what would y'all say? You know, if you said a coincidence, what would you say to anybody that would just try to write it off as a coincidence? As a coincidence.
You go first, ladies first.
I would say that it's not a coincidence. I would say that, you know, everything happens in due season, in due time. And it just reminds me when the Lord told Peter, he said, you don't understand. You don't understand right now,
Right.
but later you will.
Right.
And, you know, we do things and we're like, I don't understand, but I'm going to give. When we gave those $1,000, I didn't understand.
Right.
But I had faith to know whatever it was we were given, you know, when we gave it, the Lord was going to unlock something for us.
Right.
So, it's not a coincidence, you know, everything is God's time. Everything is, you know, God testing your faith. He's testing you to see, you know, hey, look, you know, give this and I'll give you that, you know, and sometimes it won't be just unlocking giving money. You know, sometimes it could be help. Sometimes it could be, you know, when God's timing and me and my husband agree, you know, the children, you know, sometimes it could be other things that go on in life that he'll unlock. Longer days, you know, longer life. So, you know, it's not a coincidence. To answer your question, it's not a coincidence. I do believe that everything happens for a reason.
That's crazy. As you was talking, one particular verse that popped up to me was, try me in this and see if I would not open up the windows of heaven for you.
That's good.
So, you know, sometimes God he just wants to see if we are going to play ourselves out of a blessing.
Right.
Because we're talking about, you know, the preacher just want money, the church just want money, but it's God that wants your money.
Right.
It's required.
Right.
So,
And he straight up said it.
Right.
And then don't make me we don't want to start talking about first fruit.
Right. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time.
that it is.
It is.
But the good thing, if you don't understand, you ask questions to get understanding.
Right.
Don't just stay in the field of not understanding it.
Yeah.
Because God, and I just hear it just now, God said, my people perish because of lack of knowledge, because they rejected knowledge. So you gotta push for it.
Yeah, and we have someone who we have a prophet, you know, a pastor, you know, that pours into us and let us know, you know, hey, look, this is not for me.
Right.
This is strictly for God's king. And truth be told, you know, we owe God everything. He owes us nothing. We owe him everything.
Right.
So it's his money,
Right.
it's his cars, it's his clothes,
Right.
it's everything that he have given unto us.
Right.
So we have to give it back.
And this is what I call people fools at, because do people not know, like you just said, God don't need us.
No.
He could stop everything and be perfectly
and be
fine.
perfectly
It's a
fine.
blessing that he want us to be up there with him. So
Gangster, like Papa
real
said.
talk. So like if
Gangster.
there's anybody out there that have a calling of God over their life, like please accept it, because you gotta realize he doing it to bless you.
You're doing it to bless you.
If you don't accept the call, what most you doing? What most
Right.
benefits you doing?
Right.
Well, I think time has been well spent.
Well,
You got to come back on this topic.
I will. If you'll have me, yes.
Yes, you will be
have it
back.
again.
Yes,
We'll
we'll have
have
you
you back.
again. Stay tuned, you guys,
Stay tuned.
for part 2. For part 2, we are
We will be
excited.
back.
And we will be back.
Well, guys, we hope that you were blessed by today's show.
Yes.
And always remember to subscribe.
Press that like.
And comment down below.
Until next time.
Be blessed.